Okay. Okay, good evening folks, 7:02. A couple minutes to allow some folks to come in last minute. Go ahead and call the first meeting of the Kerwinsville Borough Economic Development Committee to order. Come on in folks. Have a seat. Very loose agenda tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sam Matero. Been serving on Borough Council for 3 years. I teach digital media technology at Jeff Tech over in Reynoldsville, and I've been a long time community activist and involved in various aspects of community development since I moved back to Clearfield 10 years ago. The purpose tonight, we've got a very loose agenda here. Quick welcome and introduction, which we're doing right now. I'd like to open up the floor for 3 minutes. Now here's the rules of the game, okay? We have public comment set aside for 3 minutes for anybody that wants to make a fixed comment on whatever topic that they want to in regards to the topic of the meeting tonight, which is economic development. So if you have something that you would, a statement prepared that you'd like to state, we got 3 minutes. You're welcome to come on up to the podium and speak a piece. Then we're going to go into a little bit of an overview of why we're doing this, what the goal of the committee is. Julia Girardi here and myself exploring these options with you. This document that I prepared, if you want to take some time and take a little gander at this, it offers 4 different approaches to community development that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about what we can do to hopefully strike a little bit more of a broader balance within our community and see what we can do to pull up from the grassroots and make some things happen in this town. And then the fun part, we're going to wide open discussion. I was very excited when we attended the Kerwinsville Dam Planning Commission meeting a couple weeks ago, or I should say your planning meeting that you had with your consultants here. And it was a wonderful evening. You know, people were talking, throwing ideas around, really good positive vibe in the room. And I'm hoping that we can accomplish the same thing tonight. So, with that, I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Girardi, for making your time, and Ms. Norris for coming and making appropriate minutes of this proceeding. And of course, we are going to be recording this and putting this up on the internet for public consumption because, as you know, we're all busy. And people have kids and dance, and people have things to do, and they can't always come to public meetings. Very important that we get this information out on the internet and in any way possible to further enlighten the community as to what possibilities exist in our town. So that said, let's go ahead and open up the floor. If anybody has 3 minutes worth of a speech that they would like to give in regards to economic development, the floor is yours. Anybody?
I will.
Very good. Mayor Kamanzi.
I don't really need to stand up here, but as you know, besides mayor, my other job, well, many of you know, my other job is director of tourism for the county. And I know a lot of times people don't take that as a viable industry, but can anybody tell me what's the #2 industry in Pennsylvania?
Tourism.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Ken knows because he has, Ken's doing a great job up on the hill. The lake's doing a great job. We've got an excellent rails to trails in this town. We've got a lot of things to cash in on. Businesses are built around tourism. And so I just wanted to keep that in mind. And I think we need to really look at, you know, we need a big event in this town. We need something big that's going to draw people from all over the world, for that matter. And I think there's a lot of good options on that. So that's my plug, is obviously tourism.
Outstanding. Very good. I'm hoping you can help us throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks tonight. Anybody else? And then we'll close public comment.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I think we need more than just Kerwinsville to help us with this project. Do we have any other government officials here?
Actually, we do, and we're going to get into that when we have our members of our planning commission here. We have Mr. Rick Solomon, who's a representative of our Congressman Thompson's office, and he came down tonight from Bellefonte. Rick, what is your position?
I'm a field representative.
Field representative. So his job is to do these types of things, get out into the community and find out what's going on around his district. I asked, I did a lot of research on this myself, and asked Mr. Solomon to come. Gave him about 5 questions that I would like for him to express his views back based on what he's seeing other small towns having to deal with in this broad district. You guys covered how big of an area?
It's all are part of 17 counties.
Yeah, so there is, I'm sure, Kerwinsville is not a unique situation where you have a small town that's dealing with what we're dealing with in America today, all across this country. Anybody else tonight here in an official capacity?
No.
To answer this gentleman's question?
How about the Camille George, county commissioners?
No, I don't, no.
Should they be involved?
Should they be? Well, I would think that they are. My goal tonight was to hopefully to be able to get as much public input as we possibly can. So,
Sam,
yes.
might I say, I'm part of the Clearfield County Senior Environmental Corps, and we work in a lot of these outdoor things, like at the dam and the trails to rails, and what part of the Anderson Creek watershed, which is vital. You're the mouth of that Anderson Creek. And I'm also part of the Children's Gas Complex, which kinds of feeds into Kerwinsville here. I'm really interested in anything that you guys can jump in. We need a partnership with some of these other groups.
Absolutely.
We'll come up here and help in any way we can, because that's what we do as old senior people with nothing to do. We go out and stomp around, so we'll help you do whatever you guys come up with.
Good.
You got some free labor there.
And then, sir, are you here in an official capacity
No.
from the dam?
Just an individual.
Okay. Did you have something,
Yeah.
a public comment?
Yeah, there already is a Kerwinsville Development Corporation,
Correct.
and they have a website called kerwinsville.com.
Yep.
Where are they at
And-
today? Where are they at tonight?
John Wright let us know he wasn't able to make it. He had another appointment.
Okay, and the Kerwinsville Community Center also has a website,
Yep.
which is kerwinsvillecommunitycenter.com.
Absolutely.
What's going on in town.
You guys are right in the middle of fundraising, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Good. Well, we'll talk about that when we get into the open discussion. Anybody else here in an official capacity? Of course, we've got some members of the press. Thanks for coming. Anybody else? Council members, of course. Mike Kamanzi, Don Odell. Thank you very much. Our mayor, Mark Carolla here. And we have members of the Planning Commission here as well. So hopefully we can hear a little bit about how things are going with the comprehensive plan with the Planning Commission as well. Okay, if we're done with public comment, ladies, hey, come on in, have a seat. Oh, Kim, Sarah.
Hey, Carla. Hey, girls.
Come on in, ladies, have a seat. You know what, I'm going to stand the whole time so you can have my chair.
Well, as our Mayor Holly Monzi said, I think that tourism is important, and there's a lot to pull from there. We've got the Kerwinsville Lake. I think there's so much land up there. It would be great to see. I think we could possibly have a big music festival up there, maybe a national level group that could truly pull in people, not just from this area, but from other areas as well. That's a great asset. I know we really love going up there in the summertime. It's inexpensive. It's beautiful. It's really nice. I think about other things, and whether these will ever happen, I don't know, but they're just ideas. You see zip lines now if you go on vacation and you see these zip lines that you can get on and ride on. I stand up when we walk up to the cemetery, to the Oak Cemetery, and I look out over town and like, oh, zip lines go down there, and I don't know who owns the land. But like I said, these are just ideas. And another thing with economic development, we have the old tannery site over there, and I don't know what it would take to clean it up. I don't know if there's grant money available, but I think it's something worth exploring if someone is available or joins in that has experience writing for grants. It'd be nice to see that. You know, I know I think it's been cleaned up some, but to finish the job there, and then I'd always thought an idea was to maybe a recycling facility, a self-contained, not a big mess. A recycling facility, we have our rail line there, and I've heard, well, there's no money in recycling. Well, then why do other people do it? Why do other towns do it if there's no money in it? Plastic can be turned into other things, and picnic tables and whatnot. And again, these are just ideas. I haven't researched and done all that. They're just to throw it out there. And that would be a good example because that's right next to our school. I personally wasn't for putting an ethanol plant there right next to the school.
What's the status on that?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Status on the
man,
ethanol plant
we're
is. My 3
limiting
minutes
that,
are
we're limiting
probably
this
up.
section to 3 minutes.
Am I
We're gonna have
done?
yes, if that's okay. We're gonna have a wide open discussion where we can talk about these things after we review the document.
But anyway, that would be a good example. It's next to our school. The kids would see that. it's a positive thing and we can recycle.
And I actually do have some information on actual money, what it would take to clean up that area. Okay, very quickly, why are we doing this? It's pretty simple. And I'm going to speak very bluntly, folks. Those of you that know me, you know, you either like me or hate me for my honesty and my openness, but that, you know, I look at it this way. We work for the community, okay? It's as simple as that. We're elected officials, we get our $45 a month, and we are charged with acting in capacity of working for the well-being of the entire community. Whether we like somebody's opinion or like them personally or not, that has no bearing on the decisions that we make. The decisions that we make should be based on doing the right thing for the overall well-being of the community and within the confines of the duties and the scopes of authority that we have as local officials based on our state and federal constitution. I am a constitutionalist. I'm not a left or right kind of guy. Party has nothing to do with why I'm doing this tonight. I brought the idea of having to set up an economic development committee to be able to make a sustained effort in our community to get the entire community to focus on issues of community and economic development on a regular basis and build bridges. If we look at the mission, it states it all. Kernersville Borough Economic Development Committee, the mission, to facilitate community involvement and cooperation in important civic processes and duties regarding economic development. What does that mean in a nutshell? It's all our jobs. It's our job to create this town into something that we believe is going to be viable, that is going to be sustainable, that is going to provide our young people with a future. How many times do we hear we got to create jobs for the young people, create jobs for our kids so they stay here? Who's asking the kids what they want? We're hoping to be able to open up these types of dialogues through this. To engage the entire community through educational outreach campaigns, seminars, events that promote bridge building between government and official entities, as well as social and community groups. Sir, you had mentioned about the other groups and the elected officials and whether it's county or state or federal level, the churches, the folks at the community center. We all have a stake in seeing Kerwinsville work, and therefore we should all be having, we need to have a common ground. We need to have a safe place that we can all come and feel like we can be heard, that our opinion really matters, that we can have fun, that we can explore, and that we can, above anything, be honest with one another. And we can look at the pros and the cons of our community honestly and get to work fixing what's wrong and take what's right and take that spark and fan that flame and make some things happen. That's the goal. That's what I'm hoping happens there. And then, as an official committee, our job is to do this on a regular basis. If we can do this on a monthly basis, I think it would be wonderful, where the various groups, community groups, leadership, the public in general can come and share their opinions. And then if there's anything that we can do from a local borough council position, Julia and I will talk about it. We'll make a recommendation back to council, we'll give a monthly report, and we'll say, here's what's going on in our community, and this is how we think the council can best serve the town by supporting the things that are coming to light through this meeting. It's really as simple as that. I have people ask me, what's your agenda? That's it. It's about freedom, honesty, open and transparent government. Period. That's it. So, if we can accomplish that tonight and have some fun while we're doing it, we're off to a great start. That's the goal. We're going to take a look real quick. This document was handed to me about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I was involved with an effort to try to stop these mega landfills that were coming here. Some of you guys might remember that. We did that big summit in Clearfield about 7 years ago. And somebody had emailed me this document. I don't know where it came from. I'd like to be able to give them credit. Dennis Bancuso sent me this, and I think he got it from a website, so I can't give him credit for it. But I thought this was great, and I had taken this and done some research and added a few of my own thoughts. I want you to think about this as we discuss this tonight. I'm not going to read everything for you here, but I'm just going to illustrate the different the ideas that we're hoping can bounce around here this evening. Let's look at approach number one. These are 4 classic approaches to community and economic development. Approach number 1. Hey, I'd say we got this covered. Economic development people, politicians, They're pounding and pounding the jobs, the factories, the big businesses, bring these types of things back into the industrial park. There's a place for that within our community, of course. So, approach number one, industrial growth is key. Bringing new jobs is the key to the community's future. A strong local industrial base will be the foundation of a prosperous future for all. What can we do? You can look at some of the points that we can do there, such as spending money investing on roads, water, sewer, gas to support industry, tax incentives, all these things. What does it mean to support such things? More jobs, of course, means less unemployment and demand for community services, more revenue, all that. Of course, there's reasons why we would want to do this. Opposition to these type of development. This approach subsidizes new growth at the expense of existing residents. Some people might see it that way. Industrial growth can mean a decline in farmland, green spaces, decreased air quality, increased traffic and congestion, i.e. pollution. Many new jobs that come out of these big business deals that are being handed down to us from the state, they don't translate into real jobs for the locals. And we see that. I took a lot of crap some years ago for asking these questions about the ethanol plant that was being proposed here. And we're seeing it now with Clearfield. The folks in East End are paying the price for that noise and light pollution. And you know, is it translating into hundreds of local jobs? No, it's not. Is there residual income? Sure. But we have to be careful as we're looking at industrial growth and the promises that are being made from big business, big industry, and big government as they're handing these ideas down to us. We need to look at responsible growth and do what's right for our community and not act out of panic. We have other alternatives. Case in point, approach number 2 and number 3. Preserving community character. I would say that Kerwinsville does a wonderful job with this. The downtown organization, merchants are pulling together. We've seen a big money. The borough spent some money a couple years ago revamping the park. What's going on with the dam? The history that's here. The historical society. The home for the holidays. You know, we really do a good job at promoting and preserving our small town culture. Again, the attractiveness of the community and its rural character and scenic natural beauty, that's key. We must work to preserve our cultural, historical, and natural heritage. A little bit of a conflict there between big industrial growth and preserving community character. So again, you got to strike balance, right? You guys can read this on your own. What can be done about it? Some points regarding support for it. What somebody might state that might say that, hey, that approach isn't necessarily something that we would want to do here. Maybe they're saying that that approach doesn't address the problem of our youth. Not our youth leaving and not coming back. The brain drain, right? Does preserving community character do anything to address that? And likely, what kind of likely trade-off if we were a community that focused on that completely? Focusing on community preservation could mean that we never have the amenities of a larger community and hence fewer job opportunities. Let's look at approach number 3. This is something I am huge on. My whole life has been immersed in technology. Riding the technology wave. The technological revolution is key to the community's future. In order to secure a brighter future, the community needs to be transformed into a high-tech oasis that would grow and attract entrepreneurs. Imagine if the next MySpace or the next Facebook came out of a 16-year-old kid who had a bright idea and based their business here in Kerwinsville. You talk about a boom. Facebook was started by a kid, and it has since turned into one of the largest corporations in the world. So, IT, internet, media, electronic entertainment, news, information, education, it flies at light speed, people, and we got to get up to speed on that. There's some pros and there's some cons to that. You can read that on your own. This is something that needs to be said. Focus on social infrastructure, approach number 4. Focus on the community itself. It's where we begin the discussion of our future, involving the overall level and improving the overall level of community and civic involvement, fostering collaboration and development of our human resources will improve the community more than anything else. A vibrant nightlife, artistic, cultural events, a resident artist community. It's crucial to that aim. Now, what does that mean? It's pretty set. You know, you got a town that doesn't roll up its sidewalks at 6 o'clock, and there's actually things to do and people out having a good time. And as Holly said, we're taking advantage of our tourism opportunities. Look, the bottom line is it does work. Holly, you know, you've been all over this state. I have as well. I used to do a tourism television show. We filmed 70 spots all around Pennsylvania for Fox News several years ago. And one of my favorite places was Jim Thorpe, PA. Anybody ever been there? Happening little town. Very similar to Kerwinsville. Down in a bowl, they took advantage of they revitalized their railroad, their old coal track that runs around the ridge. They have a tourism train. Downtown is just humming with outfitters and brew pubs. You can rent a kayak and jump on the river. They have a beautiful theater. Somebody here mentioned tonight about a theater. Does anybody mention that? My little girl talks about that. The Mock Chunk Theater. When we were there, they were advertising the Dave Matthews was going to be playing there that night. And a little tiny town, smaller than Kerwinsville. That type of infrastructure is going to bring real tourism dollars, and you're going to see people driving 70, 80 miles to come here, and then go to the dam, and then go on up to the Stars Winery, shop downtown at the Strawberry Tree. This is a possibility. But more than anything, what I hope that you come away with tonight, and then I'll be quiet, we're going to open this up. Not one of these is really any better than another. We as individuals may have our personal preferences that we would like to see happen based on our life's experiences, such as myself being immersed in technology. Of course I'm big on that. Kenny, you're involved in tourism, nightlife, culture. That's something that you folks are very interested in. Folks here that are involved in industrial development. But the bottom line is this. We can't put all our eggs in one basket, people. We got to stop doing that. We need to look at all. Excuse me? Did you have a comment, sir?
Say what?
Did you have a comment?
Could you speak up a little bit? I can't hardly hear you.
I don't know that I can speak much louder.
Okay, well, do the best you can.
Okay, that's fine.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, appreciate that.
Where's your hearing aid?
Folks, we need to strike a balance in our community and look at all options before us, explore all of these options, and work together as a community to see how, if any ideas that we have or business opportunities that we have falling within whatever category that we're looking at in terms of community and economic development, what can we do that are in the other sectors to support those things and work together as a community? Because the bottom line is, Wall Street ain't working for you, okay? We have no choice but to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and focus on the American dream and stop waiting for the big ticket to fall out of the sky as the feds or the state hands down to us. We need to make things happen. And that is why we're hopefully kicking off tonight. So that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up a community discussion here. And we're going to take a look at, maybe we can start with some pros and cons. What are our strongest assets that you folks think that we have that we can build upon now and see short-term and long-term successes? Anybody? Holly, Mayor, would you like to start?
Sure.
Okay, let's hit it.
First of all, I'm going to say the people in this room, and something that Joe kind of touched on, Joe Wills, earlier, was that there are some community groups set up. I think that's one of our strengths. We do have some groups. We have
community groups, civics groups,
people
very
are
good.
normally sitting in the same room. So yeah, I think that we already have some hard workers with great ideas, doing some good things.
Very good. Okay. Any other pros, strengths that we have in our community? The lake, okay? Tourism in general. Big opportunities for tourism, right? Tourism. We have the lake. Okay? Any other pros that we have in our community? Yes, sir.
About the historical narrative here. Most of the people even here don't know about the history of it. I mean, we go back to the Erie Pike and there's so much history.
So history in general. The bucktails, right?
Well, even before that.
Absolutely.
1872 Bishop, or 1772 Bishop, the Arabian bishop coming through here, the Native Americans, the trail where your Indians were here.
Yes.
This was a high crossover point. And even the kids in school today aren't being taught that.
No, they're not.
History teachers don't know.
That's great.
You got a tremendous historical, archaeological past.
And that can be capitalized upon for commercial purposes. No doubt about it. Anybody else? Pros, Mr. Perla.
We need to make our community more attractive, and Sam, if you pull that thing out of the back there,
I'm glad you brought that up,
this
sir.
is what the community would look like if it
Well-
were redone. No, it's in the back. Not
I don't
that
think
one.
that's it.
Not that one.
That's in a snowstorm, right?
That's not for a snowstorm.
Clearfield downtown.
Yes, these are very, Mark, would you mind explaining what we're looking at here, sir?
Okay, this is trying to get enough money to refurbish some of those buildings. You can see what they looked like before and what they would look like now. And if we can get the money, that's what we'd like to do. And that would make this town attractive, and that would draw people into town.
Very good.
I agree.
Okay, so the idea that we have what could be a very quaint downtown, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, downtown. There's another pro. What other pros do we have for our area? Yes, Cindy.
I feel there's a lot of talented people in our area, such as musicians,
Outstanding.
artists, things like that. And we could get the youth involved and actually have a store, something like that, to promote money for Clemenceau.
Yes.
And it would give the youth something to do. And people would volunteer to teach the youth different activities other than what they learn in school.
That, absolutely. Well, I mean, Mr. Sopik spends a lot of time here on council. He spends a lot of time up in Wellsboro. And I've spent some time up there as well, and he's right. It is a thriving little artists community. And it's not just the gas lights. You know, you walk downtown, you got some nice restaurants, there's jazz bands playing, all kinds of cool original stuff happening, artist co-ops. Absolutely. There is a lot of money being made up there off of that. So talent, we got a nice downtown that could potentially turn into something. Our history, tourism, the lake, community and civics groups that are here. Bottom line is people that do care, right? They're doing it. So if we can conserve those efforts. Any other assets that we want to focus on? Yes.
We could try to redo rails to trails so that it leads into town.
Redo it. Right, we had talked about like a walking tour or something.
Yes.
Okay, well that's actually a big asset. Rails to trails, very good. And the greenways, all that whole movement. Okay, any other pros that we want to focus on?
We've got the long-standing tradition of Clemenceau days.
Okay, well community events in general, right?
Yeah.
And the park, right? Irvin Park. Okay, any other ideas? Assets?
How about the river, the big river that runs through the town?
The river, water, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, any other assets? And maybe we can actually start talking some ideas. Before we continue then, if we don't have any other assets that we want to throw out that we all recognize, and I think we could all agree, these are things that we all agree upon that, that we do have that are positives, that we need to fan those sparks and help those things grow. Sir, if you don't mind, I had thrown some, we'll take a little break from this before we get into some specific ideas. I had asked Mr. Solomon to respond to a few questions that I asked him regarding what other communities are doing that are facing our situation. And Rick, you said something to me on the phone that I was like, man, it sounded like me talking. And I was like, yes, I get this. This is cool. He said to me, you know, we can't put all of our eggs in one basket. The success that you guys are seeing over there is based on small business development, not one big, one big entity that's providing. I think you said it to me that it's, how did you say it? That it's better to have more small employers.
Better to have 100 people employing 2 people apiece than having one place employing 200.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you mind addressing some of the questions that we asked you to the group?
Sure. You were asking about other towns in basically north central Pennsylvania. One town that really comes to mind that I'm hearing from this group is what you want to aim for is Ridgeway. I don't know if anybody's familiar with what goes on up there, but they attract close to 100,000 people annually now.
The Chainsaw. That's happening right now, actually. Yes, that's right. The Chainsaw Festival. What's that called? The Ridgeway, anybody? What?
Rendezvous.
The Rendezvous, absolutely. Yeah.
And that didn't start, they didn't decide to do that one year and everybody from around the world came to show off their chainsaw sculptures. That started decades ago and it built to what it is today. So you got to think of any investment is going to be like that. You're either going to be paying for it in money or in time. And
so the big event.
So if you're looking for the big event,
That's
you
it.
got to start somewhere. And you also mentioned about your downtown. One town that was pretty successful in promoting their historic downtown is Brookville. And a lot of that might have to do with their proximity to the interstate too, which is an asset that they have. But they do attract, they do have some pretty thriving small businesses downtown that are serving some of the interstate traffic, and people know about it.
Sure.
Go through it. And maybe a combination of those two things. Maybe you have a big event, a bunch of people come here to see it, and they like the town when they come to see it, and so they'll come back for other reasons or something like that. So based on what you've all been talking about tonight, those are a couple of examples that come to mind.
I think that's good.
But I would say, and you mentioned this earlier, don't discount anything. The worst thing you can do when looking into economic development is say no. You've got to examine everything as objectively as you can. You might not like the idea of horizontal drilling might not be appealing to you, but the fact of the matter is there's going to be a lot of companies in this area for quite a few decades that are going to be drilling in the Marcellus and the Utica Shale. So that's one aspect that you've got to look at and say, do we want to attract some of these companies here? There's a lot of support around that, whether it's just the standard housing, food type of support for the workers, or there's a lot of companies that make parts and supply anything from sawdust to tubing to any of that stuff to these companies too. So that's something you might want to look into as well. Let's see. As far as what's an important thing that especially municipalities play in all this is spearheading these projects to whatever infrastructure you decide to improve. And you have this meeting right here is just an excellent example of what you need to be doing. I really like what you're saying about we just want this to be transparent as possible. Everybody in this town has to know what their elected officials are doing, and you put them there, you're responsible for what they're doing, so let them know what you want to happen. If you don't want more heavy industry here, make sure they know that, but you also have to know the trade-off to that. And the other thing is, a couple other things are zoning issues. I mean, you want to.
Yeah, we're very small borough, so we are kind of landlocked. There's a lot of issues there.
And so
we're very limited in what we can and can't do.
Surrounding townships, too.
Very good.
And look where the best places are to maybe target for business locating businesses. And no matter what kind of business it is, whether it's in manufacturing, industry, tourism, infrastructure is very, very important, and improving that seems to be a consistent that I've seen across all economic development is that it's improving the infrastructure. A company's not going to want to move here if the sewer's not working and they don't get clean water. Right. And just unless you have any other questions, one other thing I wanted to address is we've been hearing this across our entire district, and it's true that the population, especially this part of Pennsylvania, you get outside of the Center County area, it's aging. There's a lot of young people, most young people move away. And as I see it, the problem is they don't come back. And your young people are going to have to go somewhere else to get an education. I mean, secondary education is so much more important today than it ever was before. We're pretty much past the days where you could graduate from high school, get a job in the local mill, and work there for 50 years. Right. It's not going to work like that anymore. Actually, today, as a percent of our GDP, the United States manufactures more today than it ever has in history. But less people, a less percentage of our population are employed in manufacturing than have ever been in history. So manufacturing isn't about getting a job at the mill anymore. It's about getting an engineering degree, or getting a technical education, something in technical, some sort of technical education to run the computers that run the machines now. So that's what you're talking about when you're talking about manufacturing jobs now. They're no longer the steady blue-collar jobs that they once were. They're largely they require a lot of training now. And so I'd say you'd want to make Curwensville the type of place that your kids want to move back to. I mean, they're going to have to, in many cases, they're going to have to leave, but make it the type of environment that people want to come back to. Maybe there will be a job someday for them here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? If we as well would band together as a community to support young entrepreneurs when these young people are in the prime of their lives and they're dreaming about what can be. Again, I use the example of Facebook, and that might sound grandiose, but you know, Apple Computer started that way. You know, Jobs and his buddies were selling apples in his mom's garage. You know, his first computer was made of wood. I mean, this is how innovation happens. We as a community, you know, here's an idea. Let me throw something out at you. Here's a fund. Are you, I didn't mean to cut you off. You cover everything you wanted to?
Yeah.
And I want to thank you. You know, I was a little bit concerned about inviting you tonight because, you know, I wasn't sure how people would take this if this was a political thing, but I appreciate the fact that you're coming here as a guy who is experienced around this area in the 17 plus counties dealing with small communities. You're seeing what's happening. So this isn't, again, a left or right issue. You know, I appreciate you coming tonight and just speaking to us from that standpoint. I thank you very much. Very good insights. But here's an idea. You know, we talk about encouraging entrepreneurship, okay? How about a fund? An entrepreneur fund. We talked about, Holly, you had talked about how many civics groups there are in the area, okay? Now, Autumn and I put together a list that we invited, approximately 20, 25 different groups here tonight, as well as highly publicized this to the community. And you know, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this. I'm going, you know what? What if each of these groups, supposing if you just looked at the civics groups and not the individuals themselves, okay? If each group put in $400 a year, think about this, okay? Everybody kicks in $400. We have 20 groups. There's $8,000 per year that we invest. We go downtown. We take that money, we revitalize one of the old buildings that's down there, we hardwire it with high-tech broadband internet access, television access, anything that we can to let that entrepreneurial space thrive and take advantage of today's new economy. And we hold an annual contest. And we say, anybody in our community, primarily young people, but if you're an older person and you have a dream and you've got a great idea, we hold a business plan contest. And we say, you know what? It's a business incubator. I talked with Rob Swales about this. He said this is actually a very viable idea, the small business incubator based downtown. Now, they're using this model a lot in industrial development parks where they have, you know, there's one over in the Develop Back Park. There's one over in Clearfield. They have the shared office space. And it's set up to be able to give small businesses, you know, a starting ground where it's not too overwhelming of an expense to get started. What if we would band together as a community and spend 8 or 10 grand a year? We hold a competition, and the best business plan, the person that has their act together, we pick 3 of those people, and we say, for 1 calendar year, you've got free office space, free broadband internet, free electricity. We're going to support you, and we're going to help you grow. You know what? Maybe 2 of those things fail, but over that course of a year. But if one of them hits, they move on after that year. They get their own space. They grow. They employ people. We repeat that cycle. Could we do that as a community? Certainly we can raise 8 or 10 grand a year, right?
I'd like to see even like some kind of grant opportunity, a facade grant, but above and beyond that.
Okay.
Like a grant, a business grant.
Something like that, like a community cooperative effort.
Right.
And
like
and
you said, put the best.
well, how would you
business
call
plans
that? Like a facelift?
Well, facade is one word, but I think I'm looking more in that, like, I'm saying that like a grant, like you said, almost like a.
Well, this would be for entrepreneurs, for encouraging
Exactly.
entrepreneurships. But are you saying that that may be in a way that, Mr. Corolla, we may be able to address maybe making some of the facelifts that we have to downtown?
That and I mean, I guess you were touching on the same thing, the entrepreneurial thing, but I think that we could do a little bit more with that.
Okay.
For example, the branding iron that was closed down 2 years ago.
Yes.
There was a lot of reasons because there was a lot of things that needed fixed up and this and that. And I think instead of ignoring it, we should have, as a town, embraced that.
Absolutely.
And seen how we could have maybe got some grants for them, some private funding, the Industrial Development Corporation. Everyone gets involved. That's what
I'm so glad to hear you say that. And again, I'm going to step out here and I'm going to say something that some people may not want to hear. But you know what, Mr. Solomon, you hit it right on the head. And it's not an age thing necessarily. It's a cultural thing. Because I've talked with many younger people as well that still have this mindset, which is, you know what? They'd rather complain and moan than do something different. And you know, we've got to break that mindset. We have to band together. This is a prime example of what we could have done. I've talked with people about the branding iron, and you know, the negativity, unbelievable. Hey, you know what? That was their choice. They didn't make it, blah, blah, blah. Why should we help them out? Well, you know what? You're not just helping them out. You're helping out the community. That's what it's about. What if we, you know, did you ever see where they do eBay auctions, where they'll auction off a business, right? Couldn't the town pull together and buy that place, or put together some sort of community auction where we advertise this in Entrepreneur magazine or wine magazines, right? Where you have people, folks with money from all over the country that are looking to escape the rat race and come to a small town. They did this up in Wellsboro, and it worked. And they advertised the business for sale, and they auctioned it off for $100. You present a business, and you present a business plan, just like we talked about. You enter into the auction, whatever, it's $100, $500, whatever. You put a reserve on the auction. If the folks from the branding iron need $150,000 or whatever out of it, you put a reserve on that auction. If you don't meet the reserve, you return everybody's money. What's the big deal? You send them an email payment, less 3% for PayPal fees, no loss. If you meet the reserve, it gets sold and you get a new entrepreneur who is willing to come here and start a new life and invest in this beautiful little community. I said to Carol and Hildred, my God, look at what the strawberry tree has done. And there's some locals there. Imagine if we had the winery, absolutely. If we had 5 or 6 of that level of business, we could turn around downtown overnight. And we could do it 10 times faster if we banded together as a community. So Holly, great idea. And we can take that approach with many different facets of the community, the aesthetics, the visuals of it, as well as the support for entrepreneurship. Terry, I know you've got ideas, man. We spent hours on the phone.
Well, when you brought up branding iron, one of the best places for tourists to come in, you know, is the TripAdvisor. Because countrywide, anywhere, you know, people use this all the time. They travel in the country.
What is it?
It's called the TripAdvisor.
Holly, you aware of this?
TripAdvisor.com.
Okay. All right.
So you put up Kervinsville, PA. The only thing they have is the branding iron on there. It's still on there. And people in there, they talk to each other.
And it doesn't even exist anymore.
It's not open. I'm disappointed.
It's true.
People don't use these tremendous resources, a tree out there, like that TripAdvisor. People say traveling 80. I'm going from Detroit to Philadelphia. Is there some place in central Pennsylvania I can stop?
Absolutely.
You know, well, some of these places are smart enough to, yes, we're here.
There you go.
But what do we have? Kervinsville's got the branding iron. Well, you surely could have put some stuff in there, you know, we got the Kervinsville Dam, or this or that, or something like that.
Right.
You know, a lot of that stuff's not being taken, you know, advantage of.
No, it's not.
Kervinsville can take advantage of those kinds of
Well, the thing that came up a couple weeks ago at the dam meeting, this is what we were talking about. What a jewel that we have. I remember a couple years ago, I filmed your triathlon event, right? And I remember me and Kim, we came down out of the hill, We pull down past the smokehouse, and it's just a normal sleepy Saturday in downtown Kerwinsville, and we make a left and we go down and we hit the Civic Center, and they had, what was it, the relay, walk of life or whatever was that? Hundreds of people downtown. And then we went up to the dam. Hundreds of people everywhere. People from all over the place. And I have film of it. It's up on Kerwinsville.tv right now. You can watch it. People from Allentown, from Virginia, from Kansas, from New York that came to take part in that event. In our downtown, you wouldn't have known anything was going on. And I'm sitting here thinking, there was an opportunity, people. There was an opportunity to grab hold of that. You know, grab hold of that and pull people downtown, whatever it would be, sidewalk sales, whatever. Do something to take advantage of it. We have that opportunity with the dam as well, and it's an underutilized resource that the people here in Kerwinsville are not tapping, and we need to. I think that's a great idea. Big events, Kim, you talked about this, okay? And this is something that I know we've talked about big on. Big concerts draw huge. If we had some sort of an amphitheater set up, a Montage Mountain as an example out there in the Poconos, that's a huge facility, granted, 80,000 seats. But there's certainly, we have the land, if we can make something like this happen, where you have a world-class level concert facility where we can do major events, people are going to come to this. The town can benefit from that. It just piggybacks. So I know some of these ideas sound crazy, but like you said, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and you start out small and then you build on it and do it consistently. Kenny, I would love to pick your brain. You guys have a smoking success story up there. You're doing it. What does the town need to do to really get behind, not just you guys, but your whole industry? How can we benefit from this?
Well, when we started the winery, we started as people that come to Kerwinsville, once they're in Kerwinsville, suggest places to eat. Now we don't have too many places to eat. We do have, a couple. But we get people from all over the world that are coming to Kerwinsville that would have never come here because of the winery. Maybe they would have, but, we get people, every state, as a representative has been to Kerwinsville. People from Italy, Spain, Russia. Some of these people don't even speak English. Wow. And they're coming into Kerwinsville. So it's, it's a unique experience in that respect. To get back on this economic development, I think we have a real plus in our hat because the Secretary of Economic Development is from Bigler, Pennsylvania, Alan Walker. And if you think that he's not going to suggest where those companies come and plant their businesses, it's going to be Clearfield County. Sure, there's going to be other places, but a guy that's from this area, there's a guy that we need to embrace, and we had the great opportunity. Some of you know that we did the wine for the inauguration of the governor, and
well, congratulations.
And was down at the inauguration, and on the wine it said from Kerwinsville, and the wine actually went to the high contributors for his campaign. So it wasn't. It was like a direct market type thing. The wine, individual bottles went to, the ones that contributed 5, 10, whatever they contributed. It wasn't $100, so it's the big contributors. So, but listed Kerwinsville, Pennsylvania, right on that bottle. Is that going to affect us? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But some guy that maybe has this multi-million-dollar company that said, yeah, Kerwinsville, what is that place over there?
Sure.
It's these little things that we need to get out to get people in, People aren't coming to Kerwinsville because we're nice people. They want to come here for a reason. Just like you said, the downtown needs to be spruced up, it just needs a facelift after years and years and years. And once that comes, once that's done, people will come.
Now, Kenny, let me ask you this. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm not looking for real statistics here. But if you have them, great. The industry that you're involved with, this isn't frou-frou little piddly money here. This is something that communities are built on in other parts of the country, is it not? There's real money tapping into this as a resource, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big tourism,
Absolutely.
Industry. And, as more come around, we're part of the trail. There's 11 wineries on the trail. From, Altoona up to Sheffield. But those people, when they come to visit, usually visit all those wineries. But the key is when they come into town is to suggest other places. You know, if they're kids, we always suggest Builder's Rocks. You know, are you staying at the lake? Oh, we got a motorhome. They're rolling in with a motorhome. Where are you staying? Oh, you stayed up at the lake. Oh, it's a great place. All right, so they head up there. So it's suggestions and building upon everyone else, so everyone working together to make it successful.
Larry, you're a perfect person to ask because you deal with so many people from outside of the area. When people do come here and they see what is available to them, what types of things and feedback are you getting from folks that might say, boy, you know it would be really cool if you guys had this? What can we put up here for ideas that you think this area needs?
Well, I think, you know, this area is in dire needs of a place to eat.
Restaurants and bed and breakfast type.
Because we used to suggest everyone come down to the Branding Yard, of course. I don't suggest anyone, not that the hotel is not, I mean, it's a great place, but don't take a credit card. You know, they cash only. All of our people are all on credit cards. So I can't even suggest to go down to a great place to eat because, not that, you know, you just can't do it. So what do? We suggest everyone to go to Clearfield.
Right.
They go to Luigi's. They go where else because we just don't have any place to, you know, if they want a pizza, we'll send them down to a pizza place. But, you know, these folks are looking for something substantial. They're staying in the area or they're passing through. They're on their way from 80. We have a, you know, attraction sign on exit 120. Leads everyone right to Curvensville from signs. And those people are looking for places that, you know, to stop and
spend.
This
is a rough estimate. What would you say your percentage of out of the area income is to your winery?
Probably 80%.
I just wanted everyone to, I think that's a big thing to
listen
to there.
I mean, we have, you know, our local folks which we embrace.
80% of your business from outside the area?
At the winery, probably.
That's
what
impressive.
What would you say the lake, Chuck, Kathy, Jesse? What would you say the percentage of out of the area the local users are and the income there?
It's hard to say. It's going up every year. I mean, I've been there, this is my 3rd year, and it's going up I mean, I had people from Montana, Canada. So it is growing, you know, and it's amazing because everybody that comes there says, do you know what a gold mine you have here that has never been here? And I said, yes, we need to promote it, you know, we need to find ways.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'm really, really looking forward to interfacing and working with you folks. Mr. Kling had asked me, because I have a background in entertainment and electronic media and whatnot, he had asked me to look into finding a promoter that might be interested in doing some big concerts up there. You guys had some great ideas tossed around at the meeting. That video is up online too if you're interested in watching this. Okay, Cindy, I wanted to talk with you real quick about this too, because one of the big controversies that we've indulged in here over the past 3 years is trying to talk about opening up community access, public access television. Now, I see some folks from Atlantic Broadband here tonight. I appreciate you coming. Thank you very much. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, internet and electronic media is an integral part of economic development in today's world more than ever. You had said, sir, that, you know, vocational technical training. I mean, this is what I'm involved in as a profession, teaching this stuff, and I know firsthand of what I speak. I travel around the state teaching other teachers how to use these technologies to engage young people and get them excited about learning. And we use this to get them involved in their community by doing service learning work over at Jeff Tech. They don't have anything like that here. Community access television is about you. It's not about an agenda. It's open source media that is owned by the community. And this is integral to economic development for various reasons. Number one, sharing of information, transparency. You had said this. Recording this meeting, putting it up on the web, guaranteed, a couple hundred people are going to see this thing by the end of the weekend. Okay? That's powerful. That's important. We need to know, the people need to know that the community leaders are working for them and that they're listening to them. They need to see this type of encouraging turnout. This is wonderful. And ultimately, we don't need Atlantic Broadband to reach the community. It would be nice, but, you know, we can do it with the website. Right now, this is what we're throwing up. Cindy, you had come out here, you brought a couple of beautiful young ladies with you tonight. One of the things that you were chatting with me about, you're very involved, and your kids are involved with artistic endeavors. We have Kathy's School of Dance. Geez, you go down there, place is packed. talk to me a little bit about what do you think the importance is of public access television in regards to engaging the young people and keeping them interested in coming here? You had expressed an interest in that.
I just think with public access television, if they could turn on something, then everyone would see it. Their parents would see it. The youth would see it. They would say, oh, look, this is going on here, or to think of an idea, you know, something like that. So I think it would be good with that. I know with, I have, 480 Facebook friends, and I put just that out there, his little clip, on my Facebook, and I got so many different threads on it, and people were interested on it, and that was just from my 480 friends. So, yeah, I think if we could do something like that, it would
It sparks discussion, doesn't it? You know?
Interested in maybe somebody with a little bit of money in their pocket, or somebody that maybe someone had just died and they have the money sitting there and they want to give it to use it towards something good. Something like that, I think it would really help.
Ma'am, you had your hand up.
Yes, I did. I was going to ask how long it was going to be before we had open discussion.
Oh, well, what we needed to do is we need to schedule the next hearing for the telecommunications committee.
No.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about tonight.
Okay.
You know,
we're talking. You have something to say? Knock it out.
Well,
hit a home run.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, we're here to hear from you.
Okay.
Nobody's raising their hand, so I'm going
question.
through the crowd. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, with the with technology, I do not believe in today's age that access television is where it's at. People aren't even working with their laptop or their home computers anymore. They're out on their telephones, they're texting, that type of thing. So I think that you know, to add that expense to who's going to be sitting there watching it, you know, for the expense that it might add, number one. Number two, the other question that I have is, when I hear us talking tonight, you know, I feel like we're trying to isolate Kerwinsville and not become part of the rest of the community. You talked about the incubator. If we have one 8 miles down the road, why aren't we working to add to that rather than recreating the wheel? Those types of things. Why are we creating multiple committees that are redoing the same type of work? Why aren't you, as a representative of community development, more involved with the other groups that have already been developed in a county area? We're talking right now, you know, we don't want to split the county with two area codes, but we're going to split and we're going to keep Kerwinsville and not think about Kerwinsville as part of Clearfield, as part of the county. That's the feeling I'm getting here. It's like, what can Kerwinsville do? And I think Kerwinsville is a part of that bigger picture, and if we don't stay a part of that bigger picture, you know, we're spinning our wheels.
Well, I just first off, I'd like to say that I'm sorry that you see it that way. I don't see this as isolationist at all. In fact, this is just the opposite. This is a town coming together to put their best foot forward and to say, let's get it together. Let's use every opportunity that we have, including public access television, including Facebook, including technology, including our governmental officials, including any opportunity that we have to put our best foot forward and show the world what we have. I don't see this as isolationist at all. In regards to public access television, ma'am, you know what? You press a button and you have output on Atlantic Broadband, you have output on a computer, and you have output on a mobile phone. These are integrated technologies. People are plugged in. This is where they are getting the technology, period. The idea of having a community media center that produces the content that the young people can get involved in their community, they can record. Who's going to watch it? How many people are at Kathy's School of Dance at any given time? You put a dance rehearsal up on there, or a dance recital up? How many, Mike? let me hear from you. You're a wrestling coach. Who would watch local sports on community access TV?
I believe there would be a lot of people that would watch
I like that. Mr. Kamanzi.
If you have a football game in Caldersport, snowy night or rainy, you can't make the trip. I like to watch my hometown team win a ball game. Maybe I can't make it for, whatever other reason. Same with volleyball matches for the girls, basketball. It could be fantastic to be able to sit at home and click that on, or see it on a Saturday if you couldn't see it on Friday night.
The playoffs, absolutely.
Why
Yes.
not have access, put the public access TV in the school where you can teach the kids to run the system?
You're right.
And they can,
Mr. Wills, ultimately that's what it ought to be, but you're dealing with adding, I talked with Mr. Hatton about that, they have to add a curriculum, they have to do all that stuff. And in other communities, I actually got a plan from a community up in Oil City where I dealt with the mayor on this, and that's what they're doing. They're interfacing with the school, building a studio, adding a curriculum, and the kids are the local TV, and that's hot stuff. We have that opportunity to do that at your community center. So there are a lot of possibilities there. I don't want to keep pounding that horse because we're going to have a dedicated community meeting to talk about this. I just want to clarify a couple quick things. First off, there's been no commitment whatsoever to charging anybody in this town a penny. Anything that you have heard to the contrary is either flat out lie or the people are misinformed. We believe, and there are supporters in this town that believe flat out, this is going to be a good thing for the community. We have several options at our disposal to be able to exercise the option without necessarily making any financial commitment now. So, if the community down the road decides to exercise that option, and maybe a philanthropist wants to come up with 15 grand and pay for it, or the community wants to get together and pay for it, might I say, man, that's their right to do so. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you don't want to pay for it, don't pay for it. But if the people of this town want it, it's their right, and they should be able to exercise that right. Yes, sir.
Can you clarify this? If I'm not on Atlantic Broadband,
yes,
how am I going to view this on Access?
You go to the internet. Watch it on TV.
If I don't have internet, if I have...
Well, then don't watch it. I don't know what to tell you. You can do it via osmosis and bring it into your brain that way.
I just want to know that if Atlantic Broadband had an access channel, that would only be for the cable people that...
Yeah, it would be cable. Right, it wouldn't be on Dish,
Well, all the Dish people wouldn't be able to see the school dance or anything.
No, they wouldn't. But you'd hit 700. But you would hit 700 plus people, and dare I say, Atlantic Broadband could use that as a marketing tool and say, "Hey, you can't get local sports on Dish Network." So it'd be a good thing for everybody, and those that don't have it can watch it on the internet. Yes, sir.
What do they charge you for the access?
What?
What does the cable company charge?
They're saying that they, and again, we need to talk about this in another meeting, but they're saying that we're looking at about 15 grand to establish that option if we decide to exercise the option. You guys got to understand, the contract is not that we're committing to doing it. We're simply saying they're giving us the option that if the town down the road wants to open up that possibility, it will cost this, and here's the details on how it needs to happen. It's an option, and there's no cost to exercise that option. So, you see what I'm... Yeah, well, no. There might be cost to exercise the option when we get to that point. But to put the option in the contract, there's no commitment and there's no cost at all.
Because all the people I've talked to, they don't want it for one reason. They don't want to pay the extra.
I believe that, Mr. Wills. I believe that. What I'm here to tell you is never, in the 3 years that I've been arguing this, I have never supported the idea that the community should have to pay for it. I believe that it's Atlantic Broadband's responsibility, but we're dickering on that and we're negotiating. If we can't come to terms, I believe that we can say and put it in the contract, as Mr. Odell states, that it is an option, and if we can raise the money through alternative sources like a not-for-profit organization to pay for it, then the option kicks into place. People that want to support it can support it. People that don't have to, and it wouldn't cost the subscribers a penny.
Sounds like everybody here doesn't support it
I
already.
think we've gotten way off the subject.
I think we have
This
too.
is not Atlantic Broadband.
We need that. We're going to have a dedicated
There
meeting.
is
to
a
that.
meeting for that. That is what all this needs to be.
Absolutely.
You've already wasted too much time.
Isabella, you have something to say? Well, I do. You know, people are interested in it,
Well, they are, but
and
we're
that's
going too
good.
far.
I've been trying to stop the conversation, so go ahead, Izzy.
What I think we should do to the town is, I think we should put flowers.
Can we give the young lady the courtesy, please? Go ahead, dear.
I think we should add flowers and all sorts of trees.
Gentlemen, please, please. We have a young lady trying to speak.
Along the sidewalks, and we could have flowers and all sorts of trees along the sidewalks. I think that would give the town a little more.
If everybody would
destroy
them.
Well, you know, there is something to be said for that, but we can't operate from a space of fear. You know, we can't operate from a space of fear. I think beautifying downtown with green, with flowers, with trees, great idea, Isabella, and I thank you for speaking up.
Anything that improves the look.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what it is.
And you know what? If somebody destroys it, you know what? I've been on borough council for 3 years. I got nails in my tire. I get stupid mail sent to me at the house. It doesn't keep me from doing my job. I spend $100, I get a new tire, and I'm at the next meeting. Somebody kills a tree, you plant another tree. Okay? There you go. Yes.
I think they should repaint the buildings, like make them kind of like prettier, not like brick.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, like what we're talking about here, honey. Now, the Planning Commission, we have representatives here. It's my understanding that we're spending a good amount of money on having Suter and Associates, correct? Drawing up a comprehensive plan.
That's correct.
If you don't mind, can you give us an update on the plan, Mr. Carolla, or anybody else from your commission here? Where are we in the process, and what can the town expect from this?
Well, it's almost completed. Mr. Suter's going to come to another meeting, and he has, I don't have the stuff right here, but he's given several suggestions how we can improve the town. Like I said, with rails to trails, refurbishing the town itself, and there's a lot there, but we haven't finalized what all he wants to do yet. And hopefully in the next couple of meetings, we'll know more what's going on. But
He's
we
just
have
giving
to
you
do
the options to go with.
Yeah.
Right, it's his suggestions. And if you remember, Don, at our meeting, when we looked at the preliminary suggestions, a lot of what he was suggesting was what we're talking about tonight. You know? Absolutely. Do we have any other outstanding ideas? Yes, dear.
I think we should add more to Irwin Park. I think that we should.
Interesting.
Like, put benches along the little path on the path, and I think we should just make it more funner for little kids. Like the sandbox there, it's all dirty and it's made of wood. I think they should have like more of a nicer place to play when they go over there.
I'll tell you what, you know what, this brings something to mind, and I'm so glad to see young people here talking about these things. Ms. Mayor, we had discussed in other towns that have junior councils that are made up of young people. That they don't have a governmental capacity, but they take part in the governmental process. We need to engage our young. We can talk all we want at 30 and 40 and 50 and 70 and above about what we think the kids want, but we're hearing it from little ones here. We need to talk to the teenagers and find out what kind of town do they want and what do they want to see. And I'm telling you, they're not coming because they think we don't want to hear their voice. That's why they're not here tonight. That's why they don't come to the community meetings. We need to open up that. We need to let them know it's okay, and we can engage them in the process. Thoughts? Terry?
That is so important. Empower them.
Absolutely.
Give them an idea. Hey, we're being listened to. You know, and even they will volunteer, say, well, we'll do a little something on this. She's talking about, you know, your planning stuff, with little things. You empower people by saying, hey, we're going to give you something here, you do it.
And that empowerment is so important.
They have something to say.
There are like 15, 16-year-olds, some year-olds that are just home studying. Both their parents are working. I have friends that call and, you know, will you come see me? I'm scared at home. I need something to do. Even whenever I was young, there wasn't much to do. That's why they go and they build bonfires and drink around a bonfire. What else is there
Or kill
to do?
trees, right? Whatever. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What we need to find something like a youth center somewhere where they can go, but it's got to be decent. It can't be like Fast Times in Clearfield where it's
You know what? If we have some folks here from the community center.
you know, like
Well, we have that, Cindy. What is it?
a program where they can go and they can learn things, such as the TV thing, such as pottery, such as music.
Classics.
Because if some people would donate their talents and have a set schedule of what they could do at this time and bring it into this, you know, as a school to show different times and dates where they're meeting and they can do this or that at
Right.
this time. And at that time, they can also have a session like that.
Absolutely. Dear, and then Mr. Wills, I think, wants to talk about the community center?
Yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead. Honey, you had your hand up?
I think they should put that little place really by the football field.
That's the community center. Mr. Wills is here. He works with that. Absolutely. What do you think should go there?
I think they should put like a place where people do pottery and like kind of like a daycare.
Not a daycare, but like a center
Where little kids can
there's
go. And,
grants, you know, you can get grants or like they have them in cities. Yeah, they have them in cities. Like Boys and Girls Clubs? Some things like that. Not like really Girl Scouts, I would say for
Well-
Scouts, the Boys and Girls Clubs of
like
America.
between the teenagers, you know, like something like that. You
Sure.
know, there's Girl Scouts, there's Boy Scouts. But what happens to them once they're at a 6th grade?
no, you're right,
They're
ma'am.
not Scouts, they're after-school programs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the Boys and Girls Clubs are very different from the Scouts, yes.
Let
Yes.
me tell you the problem with the center,
Yes.
okay? Because the parents don't want to get involved. They want to have dances for the kids, but nobody wants to come and chaperone. We've tried for 2 years, have the dances after the football game, and we keep getting turned down. So there's only so much we can do without the help of the parents are really interested.
It's true.
Our next meeting is the 16th of February at 7 o'clock. If anybody wants to come and help out, we'll gladly open the center for the kids anytime.
The 16th,
February 16th at
7 p.m.
o'clock. Yeah.
Now, Joe, I started a Facebook page and I tried to connect with somebody out there that has a Facebook page for the community center.
Now we have a
Is that an official one, or you guys? What's your website?
IrwinsvilleCommunityCenter.com.
Okay, cool.
We list all our donors, everything. You try and list everything that goes on in town on the website. I'm not on Facebook. I do not like Facebook.
Okay. Gotcha.
Hey, Sam.
Yes.
We're talking a lot about what we want to do.
Yes.
But I think he has a valid point here. What's our next step? Like, we got to get people stepping up to say what they can do or what they're willing to do.
How do we do that, Holly?
That's
You're the
what
mayor. You came on a Hey, you came in on a platform. You have great ideas. What can we do to revitalize the community and get people out of their couches again and get engaged in these processes?
I think this is the first step because we got to get people to believe in it.
There you go.
And I mean, I know what Ken's done. I've seen what Ken's done. You know, Ken and his family and his business. And we need more people like that. 5 or 6 of Ken's. No, but I mean, that's how I think. I mean, people just need to get involved and embrace it, and we all need to. We're sharing our ideas tonight, and if we're agreeing on them, then I don't know what the next step is. I wish I did. I have the same problem in my job. You know, you got to get people involved. I mean, that's
I think the next step is the next step. It's just like in life. When you take stock in your life and you look at what's working and what's not working, sometimes there's things that you can change overnight, and there's other things that take time. And you just day to day. That's all we can do. Chuck, you had your hand up first, and then we'll go to this gentleman.
Well, I can tell you what we're doing at Curwensville Lake. We have a 5-member volunteer board, and right now we're working on a master site plan. We're about halfway through that. We have a vision to really grow the lake. We feel that there's a real opportunity to have public and a private partnership there, and really grow the lake. We're not only the biggest tourist attraction in Kerwinsville, we're probably the biggest tourist attraction in Clearfield County, or one of them. And we really see an opportunity there. We've got a lot of people with a lot of good ideas. Money has been an issue. This master site plan has cost us $50,000.
Wow.
To do. But we found creative ways to raise grant money. We paid for most of it with grant funds. We put in, I think, $5 grand ourselves. But you know, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of planning to get this type of stuff
Is there
started.
camps up there, campground? Is there a campground up there?
Yes, one of the things that came up was putting up cabins. They talked about that. You had your hand up?
DCNR?
Yeah, me.
Yes.
Okay, what we need is contacts, economic, you know, if we want to do some economic development, we need contacts. The Clearfield County Development Corporation, Kerwinsville County Corporation, we need people with funding. We can't do anything without money, so we need people with here. We need, like he's here tonight, we need all these people, the county commissioners.
Absolutely.
Get them involved. That should be the next step. Get somebody in here who can tell us what we have here to give you guys.
Well, dare I say this?
Before you go, Sam.
You know, this is the approach that we've been taking for 30 years, and you know what? We're where we are because
you haven't
we.
taken any approach for 30
Well,
years.
that might be a good point too.
Yeah.
My point being is that we've taken an approach of waiting for the authorities to tell us what we could or couldn't be doing.
Get them here.
You know,
Don't wait.
I think their opinion is absolutely valid as well.
Yeah.
That is one aspect of the community approach that we're talking about. We can set up and the next meeting, maybe we can bring Mr. Swales in to talk about some opportunities that we haven't explored. But the bottom line is that this, guys, we can write letters, we can petition, we can ask the bureaucrats or the politicians to help us, but if we as a community don't have a vision, then, you know, we got to get busy helping ourselves first. Mr. Wills.
The county has a grant writer.
Yes, they do.
She is really good, and she did the grant for 3rd Street in Clearfield. And if they're going downtown,
Do we use her, Mark? Do we use her? Do we use her up here?
In the center also, we have a professional grant writer.
Yes. Here's the problem that we have, and we run into this at Borough Council a lot. We hear a lot, pretty constantly, what we can't do versus what we can do. We're always hearing that. You bring together an idea, you want to move forward, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. Can't do grants because we can't spend money. Can't explore options because we can't do this, can't do that. We got to get that mindset out. So yes, yes.
Who tells you you can't do this?
Yeah.
Who tells you this?
Do you want names?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Corolla is very fiscally concerned.
Okay. Who is Mr. Corolla?
Mr. Corolla is a member of council.
Okay, but who is he relation to you?
Let me comment.
No, excuse me.
Yes.
I need to know what relationship he is to you.
He's a member of council.
And who is he and why? Where is he from?
He's a local, I suppose. from
Okay,
Kerwinsville.
so who isn't he to tell you that you can't do this?
That's a very good point.
He's the president.
Borough Council.
He's the president of the council.
They vote.
Okay, so you're the president of the council.
There's Democrats.
Okay, so who are you? You are the boss of the council?
No.
No.
Okay, so who is the boss of the council?
The people on council are the
No, tell me who the boss of the council is.
The boss of the council are the members of council. The authorities of the people on council are given by state codes, state laws, and very, very broad scopes.
So
and then any other authorities are given by vote of council.
Okay, so it's written down in the book what your procedures are. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we're finding out that that's not necessarily the case. It should be, but it hasn't
wait a
been.
minute. You're not telling me what I'm asking.
Yeah, I told you what you asked me.
No,
It should be written down. We're finding out it hasn't been.
Okay, so why hasn't it been?
We're trying to figure that out, and we're working on it. It's taken 3 years to keep us from going further over a cliff, ma'am. We're trying to fix the problem.
Okay, my name is Sally.
Sally, very
Don't
nice to
call
meet
me
you.
Ma'am, please.
Very nice to meet
So
you.
you have this book supposedly
Yes.
that you're trying to run this council by.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So this president I'm sorry, Mr. Corella?
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Corella, who's the president, is the one who tells you what you can and cannot do.
No, he's not the only one.
It's every household. So
It's everybody on council.
No, I'm not asking you. Okay, I'm trying to get this from this gentleman here, okay?
And he's saying no.
I only have one vote.
Okay.
Everybody has a vote.
Okay.
Now, let me go back a few years.
Okay.
And Sam will agree with this.
All right.
The previous council
Yes.
left this borough $600,000 in the hole.
I remember that.
Okay. Now, we've got it out, we have 50-some thousand dollars to good.
Good.
Now, there's a lot of grants we could apply for, but most of them are matching grants.
Okay.
Right now, we cannot come up with the money.
Okay.
Otherwise, if we come up with the money, we grab them in a minute. And it's just like this one we want to refurbish the town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could possibly get $1 million grant, but right now, we don't have the $200,000.
Get that. Okay, and now, the reason we can't come up with this matching money is
We don't have no money.
we don't have the money in the treasurer, is that what you're
We
saying?
have the tax? We have no tax base, we have no money in the treasurer.
Okay.
And the big thing is, we don't want to take on any more loans,
Okay.
otherwise we'll be bankrupt.
And I understand that, okay,
Yes.
I understand that, okay. So these procedures that you are assuming are correct, but now you're finding may not be.
Yes.
Where do you go now to find out if they're correct?
They're all in the code book.
It's all in this code book.
We have a code book. Every councilman's got a brand new code book. All the rules in there, the duties of every council person, the secretary, the committees, it's right in the brand new code book.
And this-
all each councilman has to do, or councilwoman, is grab it and read it.
Okay, and who wrote this code book?
No.
This code book's written by the state.
The state, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And
you
the
should come to
state-
that, ma'am, you should come to the next meeting and you'll learn a
Okay,
lot more about
and
this.
the code book
Yes.
is written by the state of Pennsylvania people.
Well, it was adopted, the ordinance was adopted by Kernersville Borough through the years. But the code book, what everybody's duties are right in the code book. They're either there or in the yellow state book.
The state of Pennsylvania.
No, that's not entirely true. If you come to the February 14th meeting, Mayor Kamadzi and I have been doing exhaustive research on this, and we have a contrary view to how this town should be running, and I believe that it is more founded on fact and state code than what Mr. Corolla is leading you to believe tonight.
Well, I don't want to cause problems.
I don't want it either, but we
mean-
got to get, that's part of the issue in this town.
And do we have an attorney? Does Kernersville have a solicitor?
Yes, Mr. Seaman.
Larry Seaman.
Larry Seaman.
Now, do we all vote on Larry Seaman?
Yes, we voted him in as our counsel when we reorganized 2 years ago.
And how many other attorneys did we ask for to have?
We didn't put it up for bid.
Why did we not do that?
Why didn't?
Nobody ever
Because
suggested.
he's good.
What's wrong with Larry?
Huh? Because he's good. No, he's not.
Okay, let's do this. If we
I'm
can-
sorry.
No, Sally, you know what? Sally, this is great. You know, I think it's so cool when people get their feathers ruffled, you know? This is good.
Honey,
This is a good thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Hey, don't apologize. I think
I
it's
shouldn't have
wonderful.
came here.
No, you should. This is good. This is good. People, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Here's the thing. These questions that are being raised go to the very core of some of the problems as to why we're in the situation that we're in. And the idea that you should be concerned or intimidated to come and speak up,
I am not.
you shouldn't be. You're good.
Because I just know, I apologize for me speaking out.
No!
And again, and I don't mean
It's wonderful.
any disrespect.
Not at all.
I just was concerned as to why. It just baffles me.
Why we're in a standstill.
Yeah.
I'm with you, and we're working on that. All I can say, if you want to know regular borough business, the doors are open, we roll the cameras, we put it on the web, you have a constitutional right to free speech, you come, you be heard, and we will respect that.
I didn't know there was a web.
Absolutely.
I didn't know
Can we get back on the topic of economic development? We're running a little late. Does anybody have any other wonderful ideas that we want to explore? Yes.
I think they should put up a museum because.
Great idea.
Because every year.
There's a small historical society museum. Yes, there is.
Every year in school, we always go to Dow
Can we please listen to the young lady?
It's really getting old going to Dow Grocery
To go to the museum for a while.
That's great. Very good, dear. Okay. Plan of action. I think, Julia, what we can do, we've heard some great ideas, great comments. Yes, sir.
First of all, the big thing, okay, I see you have, like, you want to do a facade development thing. The big thing that would help everybody in the community was if the community supported itself.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. If you would,
how do you propose that?
I would propose it by not going to the big blue places down in Clearfield.
Amen.
Yeah.
Shop local, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
I've had council members stand at my cash register and suggest that people go to Walmart. That's not very community active, is it?
Amen, sir. Absolutely.
You spoke about Brookville and Ridgeway, Mr. Solomon. They're both county seats, for one thing, which enhances their business. Also, Brookville...
I'm not saying they're a direct comparison.
Well, but you mentioned them, and this is a follow-up to that. Brookville actively kept the big boxes out because their downtown would not have been there if it would have not been for that. And that and the surrounding townships, they actively sought to keep them out. Okay. You know, the alternative, any community development here starts with the community. And I would hope everybody would shop local before they go to Clearfield. And I'm not saying Clearfield, but you know, whether it's me, Kerwinsville Feed Store, Gates Hardware, or any other places that are left, you know, that's where it all starts. And as far as the facade development, if I had the business, I would fix up my buildings on my own and not ask you for help.
Absolutely.
I really don't want your help.
You've done a wonderful job so far by the painting you've done and things like that, by the way.
Thank you. And I appreciate you noticing that. But, you know, we get people from all over too, okay,
Business is it?
driving here.
What business? What business?
Kerwinsville True Value.
Okay.
I've had people drive up from the middle of West Virginia on a Sunday to pick up grapes and stuff, okay? You know, Kerwinsville is Kerwinsville, and for a lack of better terminology, it's always going to kind of be the way it is. But we have to help ourselves.
There you go.
Okay? And by going to Clearfield shopping, you're not helping the people in Kerwinsville.
I agree. True. I agree. I think it's important to clarify, though, that we're not talking about expanding the welfare state here. I don't think that anybody's in favor of dishing out, you know, helping folks that aren't deserving of it or whatever. Granted, you folks are doing a great job. There's other wonderful businesses. But we also know that we are in an economically depressed and environmentally and opportunity depressed environment, and there are a lot of good people with a lot of good ideas that may not have the financial wherewithal, but they do have a valid and very good idea that could help the community. And in such cases, the community may want to look at that and say, what can we do to help? Because it would help the entire community. I'm not saying that that's the right approach in every case, and I commend you for everything that you're doing. Thank you very much. And point well taken. Absolutely. Shop local.
When's
Yes.
the next meeting?
Mr. Corolla, you have a question?
Another question, comment on what Mr. Wills said about the Civic Center. I can remember when that was a teenage center, and most towns would give the right arm to have a place for it.
Oh, yeah.
To go.
We used to go there when we were
kids. When I was
kids.
on council back in the 70s, okay, I went down and I helped watch the kids. They had the local bands, everybody was coming. And at the time, council had the money. And we'd only have to pay $5 an hour to have a policeman work like 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday. Nobody would do it. I was the only one that went down. Finally, the dances just fizzled out because everybody was destroying the commodes, the sinks, and whatever.
Right.
And it's a shame that it got to be a civic center when, like I said, it was a teenage center. Everybody would have given the right arm to have a place like that.
Yeah.
He's right. He's absolutely right. Yes.
I want to say something about the Civic Center. I was on the when the Civic Center was built, and that they got permission. No, no. We had a youth center up up by Beardsley Funeral Home, and it burned. And then they built that, and that was a youth center. It wasn't a civic center.
Right.
It was for the kids.
Right.
Well, they had caretakers. Lou Wetzel and his wife were up at the civic center. In the first place, it started in 1941.
Wow.
That's when this big house was up there, and that's when it started. And then they paid, you paid $1 for a membership. And Wetzel's lived, well, first off, Ray Smith and his wife were the first caretakers of the civic center, of the youth center they called it. And they had dances, and they had all kinds of, every night. The kids come there every night and everything. And then they hired, and Lou Wetzel and his wife Sis, they took over. And then when it burnt, well, then they grew down to teenage for a while. Then they retired. They got older and they retired. And then they had I don't remember who they put in there, but anyhow, that's how the Civic Center, the Curvensville Borough Council is the one that started that, and we put some money in it.
We need, yes.
And to build that as a civic center, as a teenage center. Well, then they, like I say, it all faded out.
Yep.
Like Joe says, you know.
Well, like the downtown businesses and everything.
I'll tell you, the kids today, you know, they're all different. What they do now, they have an iPod.
Right.
They have a Nintendo. They have a Wii.
They have Wii.
Technology.
They have and then they have an ATV, and they don't even watch TV. Well, I'll tell you something. You go to a basketball game or a wrestling match or a tournament, and what are the kids doing? They have the cell phone, you know. And they're there like this here. They don't even know what the hell's going on. and then I'll tell you another thing. I go to the NASCAR races, and what happens? They pay $150 for a ticket, and there they are playing Nintendo, and they're on their dang cell phone.
Okay.
They don't watch TV.
Hey, there's not even from the time that we were young people, the world has changed. You know?
You're gonna have to teach them to watch TV again because they don't read newspapers.
Well, sir, I'll tell you what. I have 40 great kids that I teach every day in a high school class, and I would beg to differ with that. My children, my youth that I teach every day are engaged, they're awake, they're active. Do they spend entirely too much time frying their brains on video games? I would agree. But the fact of the matter is that's the culture that we live in, and if we're going to change that, we need to get to work and change it about it. That's a problem. You know?
And then they have the computer and the Wii now.
Well, there you go.
So what do they do? That's what you do. Honestly, I hate to go someplace anymore because you go and you want to watch maybe the news. And you can't talk because there they are they're playing with the computer. You're by yourself anyhow, so you might as well stay at home.
There you go. Pete, you've been quiet all evening. You have something to say?
To continue that train of thought, in the 80s, the Curwensville Borough Council had a recreation board that worked.
We were talking about that. We're supposed to have one.
Between the borough and the school and the community center and people around the whole school district, not just the.
Is that a commission, Holly, that we're supposed to have?
It's a recreation board.
Is it called a board or is it a commission?
Yeah, and one of the members is from the school board.
You're right.
And that's right. And so whatever happened with that? Where is it?
Accordingly, we're supposed to have that. It's one of the things we're going to bring up at council very soon, Pete. Very, very good suggestion. Any other good ideas here? Mr. Corolla?
I just wanted to comment on the recreation board.
We
had one for years and years, and the reason that the borough disbanded it, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say it anyway.
Oh, go ahead.
Because the monetary figures didn't jive. We were
Okay.
taken care of. So
Hey, that's all right.
That's why it was disbanded,
Understood.
you know.
But then again, see.
So, in that same light, then you should have disbanded the borough council, because you yourself said that they squandered our money.
That's true.
Thank you.
So why didn't we disband it?
That's a great point.
I mean,
They should have had the auditor in.
So are we advocating anarchy? Is that what we're
just
saying?
because there's a problem, you straighten it out and keep on
You
going.
straighten it out, and you know what? You get good people in.
That's right.
And this educational process is part of that. So I think this is wonderful. Please, people, don't ever apologize for speaking up. This is great, really. Do we have any other closing comments? I think we all probably want to get wrapping it up. Sir, yes, sir.
Just to help this lady, you never create a positive unless you know what the negative is.
That's very true. You have to look at.
She has what she brought up. There's nothing wrong with that.
Very valid concerns, absolutely. The only point that I think we were getting at is that these are issues that can't be fixed tonight.
Right.
They need to be addressed at council.
I agree.
And we will, but we're working for you, and I believe everybody's on that same page, and I encourage that transparency. That's what it's about. So thank you for that. And that, that's part of economic development too, isn't it? Right? Yes. Here.
I think, well, usually, I know every town in the winter is very boring and gray and gloomy, but it's just
In central Pennsylvania.
When I am in Kernsville, it just feels more different, more exciting here. Yeah, less exciting.
No, I don't think that's what she's getting at there.
Less exciting. When we went to North Carolina, I know it's always going to be fun there in the summer and spring, but even in the winter, it's still going to be nice and fun. There's still going to be stuff to do.
And why do you think that is?
Because I think some people who are just lazy here in Kernsville just don't have much inspiration to come up and do things to help the town.
Wow.
I know.
Now that's profound.
I think what it is I think they have ideas and they're inspired to do it, but they don't have the money to do it.
I think that's part of it, but let's be real, people. There is a culture in this town that it's not popular to speak up against the grain. Let's face that. It's true. And there is something that's very poignant about what this child is observing, which is, hey, you know what? If you're not running with the clique that's in power, you get shut down. You get shouted down. And that's been the history here. And if anything's got to change to make it change, we have to create a culture that makes it okay to be able to think differently and speak out. And I think that's a good point. And then, of course, we have to, band together and support the people that have the good ideas but don't have the money to do, to enact them. Terry.
I've been around a long time, and I deal with social responsibility.
Sure.
One thing that I have seen, that most people want other people to do. They can sit and bitch and holler, but they are not the people that gets out there and do things.
Right.
And it's like we say in some of the 12-step work I do. Somebody said, we get the commissioner, we'll get the governor or something to do something. We have a saying about God. God helps those that helps themselves.
Amen.
And I think, if we can only generate the idea, you have to start you have to become part of that process. You can't sit back and say, I'm mad because somebody ain't doing something for me. You have to take some responsibility and some initiative. If we all get in there and jump into these things and do a little wee bit, none of us are going to kill ourselves. Just a little wee bit. We're all better off because of it.
And if I might add to that, there are so much of these little wee bits that are already going, but it's the consistency that's important. We as a community need to focus on those things that are working and consistently fan those flames rather than letting them die out. This is a very, very good point. Okay.
When's the next meeting?
Well, I guess we would have to check with Julia, and we'll have to look at our schedule, and we'll talk. I'd like to do it next month. What do you guys want to see Do we want to focus on any one of these particular things, bring in maybe an expert or two that might be able to help us explore?
Yes.
Do we want to look at the facade? Do we want to look at an entrepreneurial fund? The restaurants, the downtown? What do we want to make the focus of the next meeting?
Downtown.
Downtown? We got it. We got an okay on that?
Let's get John Wright here first, too. Get John Wright, county commissioner, get a couple people here to talk.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think, seriously, I think we need to work on downtown and restaurants and see where we can build from there.
Amen.
That's where economic development.
And then wait until we get that done, then wait until
Well,
then.
look, the bottom line is, Wright's Group is concerned, and their charter is with the industrial park. So if they have something that they want to lend, and what they're doing is working, we should support it.
That's
If
right.
they can support us, then great. But if we're focusing on downtown, then we need to get the people that are that have interest
I
in
would
that.
say he would have interest in that.
And okay, very fine. Well, we're gonna. You know what? Bottom line is, it's a community meeting. Anybody's welcome to come.
Well, we have to contact people. People's not gonna.
I think we need to hear ideas from outside as well. You know, Holly, have you ever looked in? Now, I did some research on this. I know we cannot qualify for a Main Street program. Look at what has happened in Clearfield. Big happenings down
Look at
there.
what's happening in Coldport.
Absolutely. But we cannot we also can't qualify for the Elm Street program, I found out. Is there anything else that we can do? Can you give us some info on that next meeting?
Sure.
Terrific. Excellent. Okay, any other ideas as to experts or thoughts that people that we could bring in to address downtown issues next time around? Anybody?
John Wright and her.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I have one problem.
Go.
You need to start a project that you can accomplish if you have build enthusiasm.
Right.
You start at the facade, it's gonna take hundreds of thousands. Pick one of those projects that you can accomplish.
Yeah.
And once you accomplish something,
It might be something small, like a park. It might be something like a few trees. Something that people can see and say, yeah, there's a movement that's happening. Very good point, sir. Thank you.
make it Curwensville Lake. There's several people here would appreciate that.
There's some gentlemen very interested in opening a restaurant in town. I know they're working very hard at that. Maybe we could help them out. Maybe I'll get them here. I know these
Put them
guys.
in touch with us, please.
Right.
Very good.
How can we help them?
Yeah, I've talked to them.
Well, we'll talk. Sometime next month.
They would really
Yeah.
like to be here.
Okay, folks, any other thoughts? Okay, you have my contact info personally on your sheets there. Please call me or get in contact if you have any other ideas. Thank you for coming, folks. Hey, guys. Thanks.